supporting my partner through anxiety/OCD is draining me. How do I stay grounded too? I, 25F, have been with my boyfriend, 27M, for about a year and a half. I love him deeply. He's caring, gentle, and tries hard even though vulnerability is difficult for him. He also struggles with severe anxiety and OCD, especially around safety and world events. It's been getting more intense lately. He gets jumpy around noise, pauses movies if he hears something outside, and constantly worries about my safety when I'm doing normal things like grabbing groceries, walking to my car, or even stepping outside my apartment. Sometimes I avoid mentioning errands because I don't want to make him spiral. We're long distance, and he really wants us to live together because he feels he could keep me safe. He says he wants to be with me too, but I can tell the safety aspect is huge for him. Right now, neither of us can move because of work, which adds another layer of stress. I want to support him truly. I've had my own mental health struggles in the past, and now that I'm more grounded, I want to be a stable partner. But I'm struggling to find a balance where I'm caring for him without losing myself, my independence, or feeling responsible for regulating his anxiety. If you've been in a relationship where mental health played a big role, how did you support your partner without becoming their therapist or losing your own emotional footing? TLDR, my boyfriend has severe anxiety/OCD and worries intensely about my safety. I want to support him, but I'm struggling to stay grounded myself. How do you show up for a partner with significant mental health challenges without getting lost in the process? My insecurities are sabotaging an amazing relationship. How do I fix myself? I'm 23F dating a 31M, together almost 2 years. A few months ago, I realized I was burned out and unhappy with my life, so I quit my job and traveled solo for 5 weeks. Now my boyfriend and I have been traveling together for 2 months, something I always dreamed of. The problem? My insecurities are at an all-time high. I'm jealous, anxious, and picking fights over small things. I know he loves me. He's literally traveling the world with me, but my brain keeps convincing me I'm not enough. He's getting tired of it, and honestly, I can't blame him. I don't want to keep being this version of myself. I want to rebuild my confidence, stop sabotaging things, and be someone I can be proud of, whether he stays with me or not. I want to feel secure in myself again so that I can show up better in this relationship or any future one. TLDR, I'm 23F struggling with insecurity that's damaging my relationship with my 31M partner. How do I rebuild my confidence and stop letting insecurity control me? My partner hates our new bed and says it feels like we're sleeping apart. My partner, 41F, and I, 47F, slept in a queen for 3 years, but I haven't been sleeping well for a long time. I like softer mattresses, more space, and I'm going through hot flashes, so nights have been miserable. She never wanted a king because she likes to be physically close, but I finally convinced her we needed one. I was exhausted, irritable, and honestly becoming a worse partner because of the lack of sleep. We've had the new king for a week now, and I'm sleeping better than I have in years. It has adjustable firmness on each side and all the features we wanted. But now she isn't sleeping. She says the king makes her feel like she's sleeping alone, even though she's right next to me. She's unhappy, restless, and feels disconnected purely because of the size of the bed. I don't want to get rid of the bed. It's the first time I've truly slept in ages, but I also don't want her to feel abandoned or pushed away. I'm trying to reassure her that the size of the mattress doesn't change our closeness or our relationship, but she seems genuinely distressed. I don't know whether to keep trying to make this work or go back to a queen and sacrifice my sleep again. TLDR, we upgraded to a king so I could sleep better, and it worked, but now my partner feels like she's sleeping alone and isn't sleeping at all. How do I reassure her and fix this without giving up the bed? I'm starting to judge my boyfriend because he refuses to get a job. I, 18F, have been wanting to break up with my boyfriend, 19M, but I keep second-guessing whether my reasons are good enough. We've been together almost 3 years, and we were basically kids when we started dating, but now we're in college, and I feel like he just isn't stepping up. His mom is a single mother working 12-hour days to support him. I'm also from a single mom household, but I get some allowances from extended family, and I try to manage my own expenses. Meanwhile, whenever he needs money, even for things like band practice, he begs other people or borrows money constantly. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. I've been asking him for months to get a job. He has plenty of free time. He's at my place constantly, and his university workload isn't heavy. But he still hasn't done anything about it. Most of the time, I'm the one paying for us, and he never reciprocates. On top of that, the habits I asked him to work on at the start of our relationship, he hasn't changed any of them. It feels like he was a different person in the beginning, and now I'm seeing who he really is. I'm starting to feel insecure because of him, and guilty watching his mom work herself to death while he does nothing. TLDR, my boyfriend refuses to get a job, constantly borrows money, and won't change habits that affect me. I feel bad for his overworked mom and uncomfortable supporting him. My best friend's boyfriend confessed feelings for me, and now I have to tell her. I, 34F, have been best friends with her, 30F, for over a decade. I was married to her brother for years, but after his infidelity and our separation, she stayed by my side. She and her boyfriend, 30M, have also been part of my life for nearly as long: family trips, holidays, everything. Her boyfriend and I have clashed in the past because I didn't like how he treated her, but recently I tried to start fresh for her sake. We've all been adjusting to big life changes, my divorce and her boyfriend having their first baby this June. A few weeks ago, their relationship hit a rough patch. He told her he'd fallen out of love, they almost broke up, and they're now trying to reconcile for the baby. I've been supporting her nonstop and cut off communication with him out of respect. Yesterday, I posted a selfie, and he messaged me saying I looked beautiful. Then he sent a multi-page letter confessing he has feelings for me, that he's been with the wrong person for years, and that he's never been more certain of anything. I was shocked, angry, disgusted, and heartbroken for my best friend. I told him he's selfish, I would never betray her, and he needed to tell her. He didn't respond. Now I'm seeing her in a few hours, and I'm sick to my stomach. She deserves to know, but I'm terrified of hurting her or damaging our friendship even though I did nothing wrong. I don't know if I should show her the letter, summarize it, or how to even begin the conversation. I don't want to carry this for days. She deserves truth, I just don't know the least harmful way to deliver it. TLDR, my best friend's boyfriend sent me a long letter confessing feelings for me. I rejected him immediately. He won't tell her, and I feel I have to, but I don't know how to break it to her without destroying her. My husband acts helpless since I got pregnant, and I'm starting to resent him. I, 26F, am 36 weeks pregnant, and my husband, 28M, has been acting strangely helpless for the last couple of months. We've always had a traditional setup where I handle cooking, cleaning, and most household tasks, something I genuinely enjoyed. But now that I physically can't do as much, he's suddenly too tired, too weak, or too sick to do basic things. What makes it worse is how selective it is. Around me, he can't open a water bottle, lift the trash bag, or put away dishes. But the moment a friend calls, he sounds lively and totally fine. When he has a fishing trip or plans with his brother, he magically has full energy and zero complaints. He also cycles through dramatic medical crises only when he's home with me, gets every test done, everything comes back normal, then instantly moves on to a new issue without trying the treatments. It's emotionally exhausting. When he recently went out of state for a few days, I felt relief. The house stayed clean, I wasn't picking up after him, and the peace was honestly eye-opening. I'm starting to believe he's panicking about losing the dynamic where I take care of everything, especially with a baby coming soon, and is clinging to it by acting helpless. I'm beginning to resent him and don't know how to get through to him. I'd especially love input from first-time dads, What helped you understand what your partner needed during pregnancy, and what finally made things click for you? TLDR, I'm 36 weeks pregnant, and my husband suddenly acts helpless and sick only when he's around me, but is totally normal and energetic around others. I felt peaceful while he was away, and am starting to resent him. Looking for advice, especially from first-time dads, on how to talk to him about stepping up before the baby arrives. Torn between my husband and my widowed dad, I feel cornered. I, 38F, live with my husband, 34M, our 2 young kids, and my dad, 80M, after my mom passed earlier this year. My dad is newly widowed, grieving, and I'm his only child, so I'm the only one who can keep an eye on him. My husband is getting increasingly angry that I ask my dad before making decisions that affect his house. For example, my ML and SL basically invited themselves for Christmas without checking with anyone. Since it's the first Christmas without my mom, I asked my dad if he was okay with it. He needed time to think, and my husband blew up at him. Dad said it would have been a yes if my husband hadn't reacted like that. My husband is now planning to spend time with his mom to clear the air, originally wanting to take one of our kids for months. Absolutely not. Now he wants to take our eldest for Christmas Day. I said no, so he's planning on Boxing Day instead. I'm not sure if he's also planning to go stay with her for a while. We can't afford to move out in this area. My dad doesn't want to leave the home he's lived in forever. He's physically fit, but the grief has clearly affected him. I don't want to abandon him while he's still adjusting to life without my mom. But my husband is acting like choosing basic respect for my dad equals choosing against him. I feel like I'm being forced to pick between supporting my widowed father or keeping my family together. TLDR, living with my widowed dad has caused major conflict with my husband. He's angry that I ask my dad before making decisions in my dad's own home, and now I feel cornered into choosing between supporting my dad or risking my marriage. My boyfriend is traveling for a month with a woman he once liked. Am I overreacting? I, 30F, am in a new relationship, and my boyfriend, 30M, has a longtime female friend he met in college. They've always been close, same hobbies, same friend group, lots of shared trips, and he's admitted that he was attracted to her back then and probably would have asked her out if she hadn't gotten into a relationship. Now, they're still extremely bonded. He goes to her for emotional stuff, buys her gifts, talks about their memories, and honestly treats her almost like a partner, just without the romantic part. He says it's harmless because her boyfriend is usually around, but when I asked if he would have dated her if she showed interest now, he hesitated before saying no. They're planning a month-long winter trip together with her boyfriend, and I can't join for the whole month, maybe just a long weekend. I'm really struggling with the idea of them living together for weeks, given their history and their closeness. I'm trying to figure out what's reasonable in a situation like this, and how to talk about my boundaries without seeming controlling. TLDR, my boyfriend is taking a month-long trip with a woman he once wanted to date and is still very emotionally close to. I'm unsure how to handle this or what boundaries are fair. My girlfriend uses insane amounts of laundry detergent and thinks I'm the crazy one. I, 39M, have been with my girlfriend, 47F, for 6 years, and her clothes have always smelled overwhelmingly like detergent. I've mentioned it before, but I never really saw her do laundry, until now. We're on a trip. The hotel has one washer/dryer, and she bought a small bottle of Tide, bleach, and dryer sheets. I figured she didn't need bleach for one tiny load of whites, but whatever, her choice. Then I noticed the bottle of detergent said 21 loads. She did one regular load of colors and one tiny load of whites, and used the entire bottle, all of it, on 2 loads. She genuinely believes this is normal. Meanwhile, everything makes sense now. The heavy scent, the residue, the way my clothes felt suffocating the one time she washed mine. The machine physically cannot rinse out that amount of soap. And it gets better. She uses 5 dryer sheets per load too. I tried explaining that it's wasteful, expensive, bad for the washing machine, bad for the environment and not good for the fabric, but she refuses to believe she's doing anything wrong. According to her, I'm the one overreacting. I've tried logic, facts, the directions on the bottle, nothing gets through. I'm honestly baffled. How do I help her understand that dumping an entire 21-load bottle into 2 washes is not normal? TLDR, girlfriend used a whole 21-load bottle of detergent on 2 loads and 5 dryer sheets each. She doesn't think it's wasteful or unhealthy, and I don't know how to get through to her. My husband is blaming me for our child's autism, and our marriage is falling apart. I, 35F, feel like my husband, 37M, is slowly slipping away from me, and I don't know how to pull us back together. When our daughter, 3F, was still in the pre-diagnosis stage, he started shutting me out emotionally and drinking more. Now that she has an official autism diagnosis, level 2, he's only become more withdrawn. Our daughter is beautiful, happy, and full of her own life. She's minimally verbal and needs extra support, but I love her exactly as she is. The issue is that somewhere along the way, my husband started blaming me, not openly, but in the way he acts, the bitterness, the distance. When I tried bringing it up, he denied it, but his behavior tells a different story. He used to be my best friend, my partner, my support, but I went through a period where I genuinely couldn't trust him to care for her safely. She eloped multiple times while I was at work, to the point that CPS had to do a home visit. That absolutely broke something in me. Now I'm watching him drink too much, spend recklessly, and put us in financial trouble. I don't want a divorce, I really don't, but I also don't know how to fix this. We've been in each other's lives since high school. We married when I got unexpectedly pregnant with our son, now 8, and building a life together felt like the right, logical thing. Now it feels like everything we built is at risk. I'm not looking for someone to just say therapy, because I've tried. I'm trying to figure out how to move forward with someone who is hurting, grieving, and taking his pain out on me, while I'm also trying to keep our kids safe, supported, and loved. TLDR, my husband is drinking too much, withdrawing, and quietly blaming me for our daughter's autism diagnosis. I don't want a divorce, but I don't know how to get us through this without losing our marriage or myself. My girlfriend canceled my Thanksgiving flight during an argument. Now I don't know what to do. I, 21M, was supposed to fly with my girlfriend, 19F, to Virginia for Thanksgiving to meet her family for the first time. Her mom bought both of our plane tickets, and I was honestly excited. It felt like a big step in our relationship. A few days after the flights were booked, my girlfriend and I got into an argument about something related to her sorority process. She left my apartment upset, and we didn't talk for several hours. We eventually made up the next day, but the following morning she told me she had canceled my flight during the argument. The ticket wasn't paid for by her, and her family already knew I was coming. She still hasn't talked to her mom or anyone about what happened, so I have no idea if I'm still invited, if they're planning to rebook, or if I'm just not going anymore. I don't want to assume anything or pressure her family, but the whole thing has left me confused and honestly hurt. I want to handle this conversation in a mature way, but I'm struggling to figure out how to communicate how this made me feel, or what I should even do if the family does decide to rebook the ticket. I don't know if going is the right move after something like this. TLDR, my girlfriend canceled the Thanksgiving flight her mom bought for me during an argument. She hasn't talked to her family about it, and I don't know how to bring it up or whether I should still go if they rebook the ticket. My boyfriend is completely enmeshed with his parents, and it's ruining our future. I, 29F, have been with my boyfriend, 30M, for a year, and while our relationship itself is amazing, everything involving his parents has been a nightmare. He's an only child, and he's deeply enmeshed with his narcissistic parents, 70F, 72M. They manipulate him, guilt-trip him, financially drain him, and treat him like their personal caretaker. Meanwhile, they've always resented me, as if I'm stealing their son. I eventually had to go no contact with them because of how poorly they treated me, but he can't bring himself to set the same boundaries. He keeps saying, "They're all I have," even though they've made his life harder for years. Their financial mess has become our problem now. He even gave up his house so they could live there cheaply, and now we're paying $3,200 in rent together while adjusting our goals to accommodate his parents' poor choices. He's starting to see how unhealthy they are, especially as he spends more time around my family, but the enmeshment runs deep. His parents clearly dislike me, try to wedge themselves between us, and their behavior continues to affect our plans. I'm honestly at the point where I'm wondering if things will ever get better, or if I need to walk away before this drains me completely. TLDR, I'm dating a man who's deeply enmeshed with his manipulative, financially irresponsible parents. I've gone no contact with them, but they still control his life and impact our relationship. I don't know if staying is worth it anymore. My girlfriend lied about relapsing on cocaine. Can I trust her again? Your girlfriend, 28F, had a cocaine addiction years before your relationship. When you, 25M, started dating, she was in recovery, but occasionally used coke. You told her it was a deal breaker, and she promised to stop completely. You've now been together 3.5 years, and you thought she'd been sober that entire time. Recently, she admitted she used cocaine about 4 times a few months ago with work friends and hid it because she feared your reaction. At first, she minimized it, but once she saw how upset you were, she apologized, promised to stop, and said she'd return to NA meetings. Now your trust is shaken, and you're unsure whether to give her a chance to rebuild it or leave, because the lie feels too big to recover from. TLDR, girlfriend with past addiction relapsed and hid it. She apologized and wants to recommit to recovery, but you're not sure trust can be rebuilt. Found my partner's divorce records online, and now I'm questioning everything. I, 27F, have been dating a man, 35M, for 4 months. He's divorced with a young daughter, and from the beginning he told me his marriage ended because his ex made false accusations and was a narcissist. I didn't push for details because he said it was a painful time, and everything about him now seemed stable. Steady job, very involved dad, emotionally consistent. Last night I looked up their divorce case online. Everything he told me technically lines up, but the details were a lot more serious than what he described. The documents mention an ICU stay. I knew about that part, but also a seizure triggered by alcohol use, hidden bottles around the house, and his ex claiming he wasn't safe to be around their daughter. He told me she exaggerated everything to get full custody, but he ended up with 50-50, which checks out. I'm not trying to assume the worst. He's never seemed drunk around me. We smoke weed together sometimes, and he's totally functional and responsible. But I can't tell if he's a genuinely recovered person with a difficult ex, or if he minimizes big issues. My fear is getting invested, and then finding out the version of events I got was heavily edited. I don't want to judge him or interrogate him, but I also don't want to ignore a potential safety issue, especially if I keep dating him. What's a fair, healthy way to bring this up so I can understand the truth without sounding accusatory or controlling? TLDR, looked up the court case for the man I'm dating. It implies a serious alcohol problem that he downplayed. Now I'm unsure how to ask about it without crossing boundaries. My boyfriend basically lives with me but doesn't help with expenses. How do I bring it up without sounding harsh? I, 25F, love having my boyfriend, 27M, around, but over the last few months he's been staying at my apartment nearly every day. He still has his own place, but in practice, he's at my 90% of the time, eating here, showering here, hanging out here, and I'm the one cooking most nights because he's already at my place when I get home. I didn't notice it at first, but my expenses have quietly doubled. Groceries disappear twice as fast, and my utility bills jumped way higher than normal. Last week, I realized I spent more on groceries than I usually do in a full month. My budget works when it's just me, but not when I'm basically hosting another adult full-time. He's not a bad guy. I know that if I directly asked him to contribute, he would. but I hate the idea of sounding like I'm suddenly charging him or keeping score. I don't want him to feel unwelcome. I just want things to feel fair, because right now they don't. I'm torn between asking for a set monthly contribution or suggesting we split groceries on the days he stays over. I just don't know how to bring it up in a way that doesn't feel awkward or accusatory. I care about him a lot, and I want to talk about this before resentment starts building. I just don't know how to start the conversation. TLDR, my boyfriend stays with me nearly every day, and my bills have gone up a lot because of it. He doesn't contribute financially because we never talked about it. I want to ask him to help without sounding rude or making him feel unwelcome. My longtime friend has become toxic and draining. How do I end the friendship without drama? I, 28F, have been friends with this woman, 29F, for 6 years, and things were always pretty stable. But after she became single last year, everything changed. She spent a year obsessing over a situationship with a guy who clearly wasn't interested, catching him on dating apps, seeing him with other women, yet every hangout turned into hours of talking about him. When that ended, she immediately repeated the same pattern with another guy. She's also become extremely negative toward other women, calling exes crazy or saying she's prettier, and she even brings up personal things about me in front of men just to get reactions. She's texted me comments from guys calling me weird, like it was funny. When she asked for honest advice about why she can't find a good relationship, I gently suggested she might be centering men too much. She got upset and told me I wouldn't understand because I'm married. I've slowly pulled back because the friendship has become exhausting. When we finally met for dinner, it was the same cycle of nonstop guy drama, and I left feeling done. I don't want to keep this friendship, but I also don't want to ghost her or start a huge confrontation. I've never ended a friendship before and have no idea how to do it cleanly. TLDR, my longtime friend has become draining, negative, and obsessed with men. I don't want the friendship anymore, but I don't know how to end it without causing unnecessary conflict. I'm in a long-distance relationship, but feeling drawn to someone new. Is it harmless or emotional cheating? I, 21M, am in a committed, long-distance relationship with someone I genuinely love and see a future with. We've been together over 3 years, since I was 18, and we've shared a lot of firsts. I know I don't want anything physical or romantic with anyone else, but I recently moved abroad and I've met someone I really click with. We joke easily, have great conversations, and I really enjoy being around them. They're only here for another month, but I'm finding myself thinking about them more than I expected. I don't want a relationship with this person. I don't want to cheat. But I do feel this pull toward wanting a close friendship, and that's exactly what scares me. I'm worried that if I let the connection deepen, it'll start to feel like emotional cheating or slide into something I don't intend. At the same time, I'm only 21. Part of me wonders if I'll regret not exploring connections while I'm young, but the stronger part of me knows I want to end up with my partner. I just don't know how to navigate this without hurting anyone, including myself. TLDR, I'm in a long-distance relationship I want to protect, but I've met someone abroad who I really connect with. I want a platonic friendship, but I'm scared it'll cross emotional boundaries. I'm confused about how to enjoy the friendship without risking my relationship. My best friend wants to move in with my boyfriend, normal situation or a disaster waiting to happen. My boyfriend, 20M, lives with 2 roommates, and one of them is moving out soon. We've been together for almost 5 months, and even though I, 18F, still live at home because we attend the same school, I stay at his place pretty often. Yesterday, my best friend, 18F, told me she wants to move into the open room. And honestly, the idea makes me uncomfortable. A lot. I keep imagining them spending way more time together than I do, just by default. I know I'd feel left out, and I'm not sure how relaxed I'd feel sleeping over if she were living there full-time. There's also the scary what-if. Relationships don't always last. The lease is a year long. If my boyfriend and I break up, she'd still be living with him. Just visualizing that makes my stomach drop. I can't tell if my discomfort is reasonable or if it's unfair to both of them. Should I say something? Or would speaking up about it be crossing a line since it's technically not my apartment? TLDR, my best friend wants to move into my boyfriend's apartment. I feel uncomfortable about them living together and worry about what happens if we break up. I don't know if I should say something or stay quiet. My husband only changed after I mentioned divorce, genuine remorse, or manipulation. I, 31F, have been with my husband, 32M, for 12 years, married for 3. For as long as I can remember, he's had a short fuse, but I always convinced myself it was stress, school, work, anything except who he truly was. Once we got married, the reality set in. This is just him. He refuses to talk about anything important, money, family issues, my feelings, because it annoys him. When I try, he gets irritated, insults me, or walks away. He's rude to me and now to my parents too, the same parents who gave us a house, land, and helped us out of debt. I feel embarrassed and foolish for ignoring their warnings. When we visit them, he barely speaks, just stares at his phone. He thinks he's smarter than everyone else, dismisses advice, and around his friends he suddenly becomes the friendly, easygoing guy I barely recognize. With me, everything I say is wrong or ignorant. When I finally brought up divorce during an argument, he flipped. Now he's being kind, apologizing, saying he'll change and can't live without me. But I've seen him do this before, a short burst of niceness, then right back to the same behavior. This time he seems genuinely shaken, but I don't know if that's real or just fear of consequences. Part of me wonders if I'm being too quick. The other part of me feels like I've dragged this out for years already. TLDR, my husband has always avoided communication, belittled me, and disrespected my parents. After I mentioned divorce, he suddenly became remorseful. I can't tell if I'm acting too fast or finally doing what I should have done long ago. I want a divorce, but he suddenly wants to change. Am I being heartless or finally honest with myself? I, 31F, have been with my husband, 32M, for 12 years, married for 3. For as long as I can remember, he's had a short fuse. My parents never loved the relationship, but I always convinced myself his rudeness came from stress, school, work, anything except who he actually was. After we got married, the truth hit me. This is who he is. He avoids every important conversation, money, family issues, my feelings, because they annoy him. When I try, he gets irritated, insults me, or walks away. He's rude not just to me now, but to my parents too, the same parents who gave us a house, land, and helped us escape debt. I feel humiliated and stupid for ignoring their warnings for so long. He barely speaks when we visit them, just stares at his phone. He acts like he's smarter than everyone and refuses advice from anyone. Meanwhile, around his friends, he's suddenly friendly and normal. With me, though, everything I say is wrong, ignorant, or stupid. When I finally brought up divorce during an argument, something flipped. Now he's being nice, saying he'll change, saying he can't live without me. I've seen this cycle before. He's nice, makes promises, then slips right back into who he really is. This is the first time he seems genuinely shaken, but I don't know if that's real change or just fear of consequences. Part of me feels guilty and wonders if I'm leaving too quickly. The other part of me knows I've lived like this for years. TLDR, my husband has always treated me poorly, avoids communication, disrespects my parents, and belittles me. Now that I mentioned divorce, he's suddenly remorseful. I don't know if I'm being too hasty or finally doing what I should have done years ago. My fiance keeps lying about his brother's dating life, harmless loyalty, or a real red flag. I, 30F, have been with my fiance, 39M, for 3 years, and something has started to bother me. He lies to me about his brothers, 38M, relationships. Not small omissions, full-on contradictions. He'll tell me things like, poor brother hasn't dated in months, and then I overhear them talking about a date he just had last week. Recently, I even overheard them discussing the brother having sex at work. When I asked my fiancé about it, he brushed it off, insisted nothing happened, and then I heard him quietly say, "Don't tell her." I'm confused. I don't care what his brother does, that's his business. But why lie to me? Why hide harmless information? Why say, "Don't tell her" about something that doesn't affect me at all? Is this just brothers protecting each other's privacy, or is it a sign my fiancé hides things too easily and comfortably? TLDR, my fiancé lies about his brother's dating life and even says don't tell her when discussing things. I don't know if this is normal brother behavior or a sign my fiancé is too comfortable lying to me.